What's going on, guys? Magdowan here. It's Sunday evening. I just spent most of the weekend leveling a character, buying gear, getting everything set up for the Tornado Shot project. But I'll have a video coming out sometime this week going over that specifically. Today I wanted to actually talk about the experience I had leveling a second character in this league with the Holopalm setup, and the way that the new Call of the Void ring has made that way better. So I broke it up into two sections. There's the part where I'm doing the campaign and actually leveling from 1 to 70. And I'll talk about how I set that up, what guide I followed, I'll give you a link to that, all of that stuff. And then the second phase, from level 70 to about 95, I used TFT 5-way carries, which I hadn't done yet this week. And so I'll talk about my experience with that. I have a few warnings for you and just a few other things I want to go over with that to make sure that if you want to do the same thing, you have at least as smooth an experience as I did, if not maybe a little bit smoother. I think the game's in probably the best state it's ever been for leveling more than one character if you don't like to level more than one character. So, yeah, I'll go over all of that stuff, and if that interests you, hit that like and subscribe button and stick around. Alright, here is some Holopalm footage in Blood Aqueduct, and you can see it just crushes everything. You've got explodes. It really does just feel like mapping, basically. And most of the playthrough is that way. I saw that Kobe Black Mamba put out a guide a little bit ago about the setup, and I had done it once before last league to level an Orobot, and I felt like it was overrated. It still was tedious, and I just don't like the leveling process. And so that's the least favorite part of my game. I try and get through it as quickly as I can, but I tend to still just not have a good time even in twinked gear. This was the first time where I really felt like I was just playing the game, having a good time. It was chill. I just can't say enough. It was fantastic. So let's go in game here, and I will go over the gear. So I'll have a link to his guide in the description below, and it was easy to set up, relatively cheap. I think the only thing that cost an Exalter more was the chest piece. Otherwise, you're talking handfuls of chaos here or there, and you just grab everything up, and you're good to go. So Gold Rim, Astra Menace, Hoop, the Erie's Ire, Ring, boots, and then you pick up all your gems. These are just two leveling rings that I grabbed for the very beginning. And then the belt. And then obviously one with nothing. And basically by the time I hit level 20 or so, most of it's online and you're just smashing stuff down. And basically I didn't have to change anything for the entire process. Maybe I did have to tweak one or two things, a flask here or there. I grabbed these along the way. And I don't even think I need to go over exactly which flasks I was using because it was an afterthought. I did gravitate towards using a life flask that had, corrupted blood immunity, but that is pretty standard, I think. So the process of going from level 1 to level 70, that was the fastest, smoothest, most fun I've ever had doing it in all of my years playing the game since beta. And so, if you're on the fence about am I doing a second character this league, just do it. At least, especially if you haven't tried the Holopalm thing. I say for sure, give it a shot this week. But yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot more to say. As far as the skill tree and whatever, I'll let you go and take a look at Kobe Black Mamba's guide and see what he has to say and figure it out that way, get his POV and all of that stuff. So, I want to move on and talk about the actual process of getting from 70 to 95 and just real quickly give you guys a couple warnings. So, you go on TFT, you go into the channel for 5-way hosting, and basically they're advertising. And one of the big differences now from last week is the distinction between what they're calling normal runs and AFK runs. I don't remember that being a thing that was distinguished before. And basically, as it turns out, even the ones that say AFK, it's not really AFK if you just take your follow palm character with no adjustment into the 5-way and stand there and like leave. You're gonna die. People were dropping like flies. And so I'm gonna show you the gear that I used and then tell you what to do with your tree. But before I do that, the other huge warning is I only did three or four full sets of, you know, 4 or 5 runs. I think one time I did a 2x one where it was like 4 runs for 2x. I assume somebody had dropped out or whatever. Anyway, in every run, there was somebody either trying to scam or actually scamming somebody. The one time, the first run I did, a guy, 100%, I watched it happen. He got scammed. The guy was trading everybody that, and he was not the one hosting the run, and stole a bunch of exalties from people. So you got to keep your eyes peeled on this shit, for sure. It's rough out there, but I'm talking an hour and a half or so from level 70 to level 95 in the era of the Arch Nemesis mod one-shot situation. So worth it 100%, but be even more cautious than you might have been in the past. So the gear that I picked up was designed just to have a shitload of chaos res and a bunch of life. So grab yourself a Comb's Heart, and then a trash shield with a bunch of chaos res, a trash weapon with a bunch of chaos res, and boots with a bunch of random res and chaos res and movement speed. Believe it or not, even in the AFK 5-ways, I found myself sitting here and dodging the little chaos poison balls that drop on your head. Those were shitting on people left and right. Some people were getting kind of mad. So that was kind of funny, but you know, you don't want to lose your XP. It sucks to die in one of those. You're paying for it. Grab this stuff. It's super cheap. Throw it on. You're good to go. If you have a leather belt, I think I've got one. Yeah, something like this also. Just throw it on your character. Have a ton of chaos res. Use an amethyst flask. And then go to your tree. And this is wasteful. I don't care. We're talking second characters here. I recommend already have a fully built up character that's got your farm going, so we don't care about regrets. We have hundreds of them. I just unspec the whole tree. And then just make the dumbest, least efficient, stupid tree where you just grab anything life. Just grab some life. Go all the way over here, get some life. It doesn't matter. Just anything that's got life on it, just grab it. If it's got Ellie res, grab it. Evasion, armor, just grab it. We literally don't care about damage. When I did the 5-ways, I straight up didn't have a skill socketed in. All I care about is I don't want to fucking die. That's it. So those are my recommendations. Grab those pieces of gear, make the Frankenstein tree, and then do your 5-ways, and then spend the regrets again, and set your tree up for whatever your final build is going to be, and then switch into your regular gear, and you're good to go. And yeah, so as I said at the beginning, I can't think of a time where it's been more fun to level second characters. For sure, I'm going to do a third character this week, which, aside from a specific use case like an Aurabot or something, I almost never level more than 2 characters. And this week, it's for sure going to be 3, maybe even more, because you're talking, you know, even for someone like me that doesn't excel at leveling, I tend to get frustrated. I'll get lost. It takes me longer than I think. You know, if people quote 3-4 hours, it always takes me 5 or 6. Even this time, it was still probably closer to 4.5, 5 hours. But it was a fun 4.5, 5 hours. It was a nice, you know, Friday evening for me for a couple hours and then a few hours in the morning. And so, yeah, give it a shot if you haven't done it. So yeah, that's all I've got for you today. I will be back very soon with a video about the Tornado Shot character. Yeah, I'll see you then. I appreciate you.